Okay, the George Floyd thing. Now, I don't think I'm gonna be watching it on camera like I did once on YouTube. I watched the first video. I said there's a missing piece here. George Floyd is here 1 minute, here the next. Where's the missing piece? Well, sorry, allergies. It's not the virus. Well, it turns out that we have the missing piece. There was a body camera that was deliberately suppressed for many months, and that may very well work in favor of the cop trial. Because a lot of times if evidence is suppressed, the judges will exclude things, if not flat out drop the case. They've had times when the judge would have a guy in court and he knows for a fact the guy's guilty. But because the system wasn't followed, the law was not properly obeyed, the case is dismissed. So now George Floyd was caught with a $20 counterfeit bill. To put that into perspective, I've heard and I believe that every single one of us has handled at least one counterfeit bill. And you see a lot of cashiers, they hold the bill this way or twist it that way or turn it that way. Yeah. Oh, okay. So a lot of times they call the police and the police come down and the police will say, listen, you probably made a mistake. My mother told me that a lot of police departments will just take the bill. But I think some departments, sorry, allergies. I think some police departments will tell the mayor, the police commissioner, listen, give the guy $20. Because if we don't give the guy $20, he's gonna sue us or he's gonna complain about us. He's gonna make it into a big fucking issue. He's gonna get $20. In order for you to be arrested and charged with counterfeiting, they have to either prove They have to either prove that you knew the bill was counterfeit and spent it anyway, or B, prove that you printed the bill. So majority of the time, they just take it away. They give it to the Secret Service. Fuck my nose. Sorry. And the Secret Service will take and add it to their collection. And they have collections of hundreds of thousands of bills, what they look like, where they try to figure out where could these have come from. This bill looks similar to that bill. Maybe they came from the same place. Okay. Now, George Floyd was indeed called in because he had a $20 bill counterfeit. But when the police got there, he was getting in the car to go away. And he was under the influence of several medications, including fentanyl, which is very dangerous. It is driving while under the influence. And he was behaving erratic, and the police did take him in. Excuse me. Now, he was taken in, and he was erratic, crying, he had no shirt on, he was just incoherent. He might end up in the psych ward, he might end up in a hospital, but they gotta take him, they can't let him out in public. So, they try to take him away. The video's on YouTube. Just go George Floyd body camera, it's there. They took him away, handcuffed him, led him to another car. He was not wanting to get into the car. He's like, oh, I don't want to get in the car. He's 6'6". I'm claustrophobic. I'm afraid. Leave me alone. I can't breathe. He was saying I can't breathe already. The medical examiner said a lot of that medication in the body fucks with the heart, the lungs, the breathing, all the other bullshit. And he eventually collapsed. He was being a big fucking baby about it. Plus he's on drugs on top of that. And the cop put the knee in the neck. Now, I still can't justify that. I still can't justify the knee on the neck. I can't. Okay? The only way I could justify the knee on the neck is if George Floyd reached for a weapon. Or something. Or if he tried to grab the cop by the throat or something like that. Or bust it out of the handcuffs like a monster. Like, I can't justify that. But the issue is the fact that the body camera was hidden for many months. I think someone leaked it or some shit. That tells us that they didn't want the narrative interrupted. The narrative is that all police are scum. And just look at what has come of this, okay? We had several weeks of rioting, And if you go to Portland, they're still rioting after over 70 days. 70. Can you imagine your hometown having over 70 consecutive days of rioting? Can you imagine the horror? People that live in Portland, if they have a house, if they have a condo, okay, if they have any type of home that they own, I mean, if you live in an apartment building, you rent, you just move the fuck out. But people that live in you own your own home, you own a house, you own a condo, you own the property, okay? That property is worth literally nothing. You literally in Portland cannot pay someone to take your condo or your house. How about store owners, okay? How the fuck can stores make money if, in addition to the COVID shutdown, they got rioting, looting, domestic terrorism? How the fuck? And this is just one town, okay? This isn't all the other towns and cities that were burning, looting, raping, bombing, killing. I mean, it was a fucking night. There were some towns that looked like the fucking Middle East, man, including Minneapolis. I have a picture on Instagram. Yeah, pray for Syria. Just kidding, it's Minneapolis. Okay? And just the property damage, the human life. I mean, just imagine how fucking bad. And it all stems from the George Floyd thing. They wanted the narrative to be all cops are racist pigs. All cops must die. Okay? And because of the narrative they wanted to put out, because the narrative was he was arrested for a $20 counterfeit bill. But if he's arrested for driving under the influence of drugs, that's a big thing. You can kill someone. Okay? If he's being resistant, defiant, it in a way, it's not a whole 100% justification for the knee in the neck, but it could be the difference between a manslaughter and a murder. Okay? A lot of times what they'll consider that George Floyd did choose to do drugs on his own. He did choose to drive under the influence of drugs, which is a problem because you can kill innocent people. Now, I normally don't give a fuck if you want to sit in your house and smoke weed all day, okay? I normally don't care about that. But when you're on influence of medication like fentanyl and shit, if you're driving a car, you can kill somebody. That's not a joke. You can kill somebody. It's worse than being drunk. So the arrest was actually justified because he was putting the public in danger. The $20 bill aside, they didn't even need the $20 bill at that point. Okay? They didn't care about the $20 bill at that point. Once the cop sees you getting in the car, turn the engine on, and you're all fucky with cocaine or fentanyl or whatever you're on, okay? Once the cop sees that, he doesn't care about the $20 bill. That's irrelevant to him. Okay? That's irrelevant to him. So that, in a way, it disrupts the narrative. Now, also, he's on medication. Now, obviously, putting a knee on the neck will really, really, really fuck you up, if not kill you, even if you're sober and healthy. But the fact that he's resisting arrest could be used as an excuse to why he ended up on the ground in the first place. Someone, defense attorney, could argue, well, if he just got in the car like he was supposed to and went to jail, they probably would have sent him to rehab. Because let's face it, okay? I did my internship at the courthouse. A lot of times, if you're under the influence of drugs, the judge will sentence you to rehab as opposed to hard time. Now, maybe if you're on drugs, raping a 5-year-old, different story. But if you're on drugs, driving, or on drugs in public, just walking around like an asshole, the judge will say, you're sick, you need help. I'll give you rehab. Take the rehab. He'll do that most of the time. Okay? But the defense attorney, in this case, the cop might say, well, if he just cooperated, he wouldn't have been on the ground in the first place. And that's true. Well, he was under the influence of drugs. He couldn't breathe beforehand. So, the defense attorney will try as hard as he can to get one juror to just say, manslaughter. Okay, having 11 jurors say first degree murder, and having one juror say manslaughter means hung jury. Okay, a lot of times the jury will have what they call a compromise vote, where you get a couple of jurors say first degree murder, a couple of jurors say manslaughter, and they'll say fine, third degree murder or reckless homicide. They do a compromise sometimes. Jurors do that shit. Okay, so that in some way it calls it into question. Okay, but they didn't care. See, the DA who's responsible for prosecuting this case was investigated because his ex-wife went to the cops looking like Nicole Brown Simpson. I mean, he really fucked his woman up. He shouldn't be a DA, period. Because if you're being the fuck out of your wife, your ex-wife, you shouldn't be in the justice system, period. You shouldn't be a cop. You shouldn't be a judge. So you gotta take all this shit into account. And the cop still has a lot of experience. The knee on the neck is really gonna fuck his day up. Okay, he's not gonna get away with that. That's gonna be at least a manslaughter. Okay, they may take into consideration that he was on drugs, he was acting like an asshole, not cooperating. Okay, that may be a mitigation, but they're not gonna do it entirely. So just put that out there. But and it's just they needed that narrative. All cops are bad. All cops must die. They needed that narrative to get out there because they needed people to be mad at the cops. They needed fire. They needed bombing. They needed murder. They needed rape. They needed terrorism. Okay, they needed the police to be defunded. Okay, it was all about the narrative, and it's sickening. You hate cops so much that when you get a cop that legitimately does something really bad, you're willing to compromise the investigation, hoping that the city will burn. Okay, who the fuck is in charge here? Ted Bundy? I mean, this is some sadist shit. Thank you.